Hello, and thanks for joining us. My name is Stella Oyinso, and it's time for One on One once again. Now, one on one comes your way uh, quite frequently during the week. It's my way of having interesting conversations online with different amazing individuals. And today we have someone joining us that's going to be a really interesting conversation. We are talking opportunities in the Adire textile industry as well as stakeholders today. And no matter where you're watching or listening to us from, I have a feeling it's going to be an interesting conversation. Okay, that's my cue to put my phone on silence. I should have done that before now. Okay, got you. All right, then before we begin, I would like to draw your attention to this QR code. Now, I've had the opportunity to learn so many great things online, and I've learned from different platforms, had different opportunities to use, take advantage of technology, and AI has come to stay. AdCreative.ai is a platform where you can create your own adverts. And all you have to do is put in all the information you need about your brand, your company, or whatever it is you want to talk about, and then basically press send. Just try out adcreative.ai right now. You can scan the QR code on your screen and see if it can be helpful for you and your business. At this point, let me introduce our guest for today. Now, let's talk about the industry briefly. That there are quite a few challenges that exist for different industry stakeholders when it comes to the Adire industry. Nigeria's Adire industry is a vibrant and dynamic sector. It's faced several challenges over the years. And Adire means tie and dye in Yoruba, and it's a textile art form that originated in Nigeria's southwest region. And it involves tying or stitching patterns onto fabric before dyeing it, resulting in intricate and colorful designs. Now, Adire fabric are a significant aspect of Nigerian fashion and culture, and they've gained international recognition over the years. We thought it would be great to have a conversation with someone who's into this right here in Nigeria. Adebayo Olorunjuwon Oluwaferanmi is joining us today. He's an economist with a passion for textile production, and he has a degree in economics from Bingham University, Nasarawa State. And he also has worked as an administrator for quite a few years before his passion for entrepreneurship and textile production became stronger. He pursued further training in textile production, that's for Adire specifically, and it's allowed him to deepen his knowledge and expertise in the industry. He is the lead creative director and head of operations of J1 Adire Merch, a textile production, styling, and training brand. It's great to have you here with us, Olorunjuwon. How are you doing?
I'm great, and you?
I'm fantastic. Okay, so you need to talk to us and tell us your story. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Could you come closer, a little bit closer, please?
Okay. Is this okay?
All right, I can hear you now. So talk to us about how this all began. They call you the Adire Prof. Why is that?
Um, okay. Um, the the dream started while I was serving, and I met the person who trained me during my NYC days. I met him in camp. I went to buy something at his stand, and then I got his number. I noticed I just loved the way most of those designs were. And when I saw the opportunity that he was training other people, I took the opportunity, and from there I started on my own.
So when you say you started on your own, it seems very simple to just say you started on your own. What did you use? What tools did you have? Did you have to go out and buy your own tools? Were you an apprentice? How long did it take before you could learn?
Okay, I've been in the textile industry for in total. 3.5 years, but I would say professionally 2 years, because I used at least a year, almost a year, if not 9 months, for training. And you can say it's quite simple, but then it's not in passing through it physically. But I feel the reason why I loved it is because you said tools. Most of the tools for tie dye are things that you can find around you. So those are the things that attracted me actually to the field, because it's it's not that capital intensive if you know what you are doing, and then the profit margin is high. So most of the tools that we use for productions are things that you can find in your domestic environment. So I hope that answers your question.
It actually does, but then I still want you to go a bit further because it's one thing to know how to do it, but then it's another thing for you to actually understand how to mix colors, which colors go together properly, and then finding out your market. So, from when you started testing to when you actually started making sales, talk about that journey.
Okay. I feel most people just try this today and don't give time to it, don't find knowledge, just trying to buttress on what you are saying, and then say, this thing does not work, let me look for something else. Um, why I love Adire in the second place is because there are so many aspects you can touch on. We have the ready to wear, we have pre-wedding outfits, we have Adire branded outfits. You can also make photography backdrop for other people. And as well, we have a segment where you can make interiors, like house interiors for people. So when you get enough information and you have tried, like you are testing and testing, where you find you get to find your strong point or your strength. I gave an example of my senior colleague who has been doing ready to wear for a long time, but then he later discovered that okay, his strength is in Adire branded outfit for other people. I also do Adire branded outfit, but recently I noticed that maybe people get excited when I design fabric for their providing outfit. It does not mean I don't do other aspects. I also train. I also make photography backdrop for other people. But then, when you keep trying, you now know where your strength is and where your weakness is. Now, when you focus on your strengths and you harness it very well, your audience might not get to know your weakness.
Mm,
But then
okay.
you on your own know where you are not strong at. But then it's very, very important that you have an idea of everything, if not everything, almost everything, and then you look for a place, a niche, as they will call it, because as I said that there are so many aspects. Nigeria has so many niches, like I've mentioned a few. So you now look for the one that you want to focus on. Some people basically today don't you might not see them doing ready to wear. You might not see them designing photo backdrop for anybody. All they focus on is training people, and that's all.
Mm, mm. So the training aspect now, let's talk about that. Yeah, there
Okay.
has been this mindset, from back in the day that don't train, don't share all your secrets. Don't give out too much information because this person is going to take it and run with it, and then, God forbid, maybe take you out of business. That's a mindset a lot of Nigerians have had over time. But you've actually taken it upon yourself to train people regularly. Talk to us about how that makes you feel.
I feel whoever believes that letting out all his secrets might take him out of the game or out of the business, to me, I feel that is a fallacy to me, and I believe the person is not creative enough, because in our world today, things keep evolving, and the more people get to know about. The funny thing is, when people think they have known everything about you, it gives you a time to go back and work on yourself. One thing I love to do when most of my students come, I I don't hide anything basically. And then as a custom for my brand, I make sure that at least a month I release a new design. At least a month, if not on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and I might be the one to wear it most times.
Mm.
So basically, I'm always trying to think, how can I make this better? How can I do this better? Now, people are insecure with letting out their secrets. Meanwhile, the younger generation, when they know this information, they will put you on your toes to be able to do better. Because the more you let out, the more you want to be more relevant. And one thing I took it is something I learned while I was in school. Because sometimes I help with my classmates to teach them some things. I discovered the more you train people on something, the more you yourself master it. But most people don't know. Because
Mm.
when you are teaching somebody, psychologically your brain is trying to think, what can this person think? Ask me in this process I'm explaining. Now it gives you a broader knowledge of what you are doing. But if you just keep it to yourself, you might think you know it, but you have not mastered it. Because when you are teaching somebody who has no idea about it, the person is prone to ask you some challenging questions. Except if you are not a good tutor, when you are tutoring people, your mind tends to think faster than who you are teaching. That this person might ask me this, so your mind is answering that question, and the way your mind is answering the question is also making that field or that design or that particular thing more open and more simple for you. I think that answers your
Mm.
question.
I'm looking at some of your really interesting designs there. I'm not sure. Can you see those? Can you see them on the
um
screen? I
I can
have.
see.
Okay, so these are t-shirts, I believe. And you mentioned making unique designs every single week.
Yes.
Now, that means that you put a lot into your business in terms of um, being forward thinking without
Yes.
any guarantees that you make sales. What have you put in place to sort of make sure that you can continue making sales each and every week? What sort of structures?
Okay. I feel the sales aspect we learn every day, but for sales you have to master content creation and serious marketing. So I try as much as possible to create valuable content. As I said in my profile, that I'm still learning in the whole process, but then I try to create valuable content, and then I use WhatsApp and Instagram marketing very well. So and I feel before I can make another person to wear my brand, I should be the one. Most times I wear my brand. These days I you can rarely see in my wardrobe any fabric that is not Adire or native. So I have few of other fabrics. I believe I'm the first person that will market my product. So when you see me wearing it or rocking my outfits, it speaks volume aside the other magnificent marketing. And then not downplaying marketing or content creation. I'm still working on content creation and marketing as well. So they all work hand in hand.
So where's your base? Where's your base?
I'm based in Ibadan, Ashibodija in Ibadan.
Okay. So is it easier to work on your craft in Ibadan than any other place? Have you thought about expanding into any other space?
Um, there's the thought of expansion, probably to Lagos, because I believe everybody feels Lagos is the biggest market. But then, um, it all boils down to, like, we have not discussed the challenges in their direct business. One of the challenges is sourcing for good raw materials or quality raw materials. So when the expansion time comes, we have to look for a way to source for right raw materials wherever we are planning to establish, whether anywhere around the world.
Mm.
Because one thing that most textile designers might not tell you, aside your mastery, aside your knowledge, as simple as bad chemical or expired chemical can spoil your whole 10 years knowledge in the Adire business.
Mm.
So when you are thinking of expanding, it's good to be in UK, it's good to be in Canada, but you have to also put in cognizance some of these things. You have to look for where can you get quality raw materials
Mm.
for your production. Where can you get this? So those are some of the things you could consider.
So we've already started the conversation on challenges. Apart
Okay.
from sourcing the materials, what are the other challenges maybe people haven't put into consideration?
I think what most people might face as well is funding. Funding. Most business face funding, so I might not focus majorly on funding. Aside funding, we have sourcing raw materials, and then we also have, for if you are just starting, the thought of creating new designs constantly. That because in a business like this, I usually tell my students that try as much as possible not to be posting the same thing every time. When you post this, the next month you are posting this, another month you are posting this, they look at it that this person does not have much to offer. So as a new person that is coming in, you have to be very creative. And like I always say, or like I was told, and I believe, and it's very true, anybody who has a brain and can think can create or make designs. The major
Mm.
thing to solve that challenge is you have to master most of the techniques and most of the designs. Once you have a once you have mastery, sorry, not a, once you have mastery in the process of creating techniques, or in the process of the laid down techniques, creating new designs might not be an issue. So I think those three, to be brief, would be one of the major challenges that a textile designer might face. In order of importance, funding.
Mm.
um I think funding, sourcing of quality raw materials, and then let me put the fear of always bringing out quality product or quality designs.
There are other businesses that require large amounts of electricity, power. Is this
Yes.
the kind of business that requires power? Because, to the best of my knowledge, this is liquids and fabrics. But are you using power?
We ask, okay, the tie dye that we do for now is majorly things you could do with your hand, but what power is also necessary, because
Okay.
the process of packaging and trying
Mm.
to do all those, we use power for in the packaging aspect, so power is also important.
Okay. All right. So that hasn't been a drawback for you at all. I can understand that you're in Ibadan.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the power situation is like in Ibadan, but if it's like what it is in Lagos, that might be a challenge.
um there are options on how to, but power is very important, but I think there are some other options to use to cushion the effect of power not affecting you too much. But
Mm.
then it cannot be a substitute or a perfect substitute for
Mm.
power supply. But then there are other options you could explore. So I feel with that you can.
So once you factor in power, I'm looking at your design here now. I can see you've put a price tag on it. You said 10,000 naira for this amazing look. These shorts are bright, beautiful. But then when you factor in power and cost of fuel, and of course, labor, materials, how are you able to keep the price at a particular level that people can afford, especially in your environment?
That's a very important question. Aside power, I think even raw materials prices change or vary. Sometimes you could, okay, I remember one of the chemicals that we use in a space of 3 months, one was about 2,000, and in less than 3 months it became 2,500. So I feel constantly, um as a practice, I might I inform my customers beforehand, and then let them know that okay, okay, this price might change soon. Because as I said, I didn't mention power as a major problem in the first place, because the other power supply methods that you could use. But I feel where pricing could be a problem is in getting of raw materials majorly. So what we do as a brand is, before once we suspect that there might be an increase in price, we try to intimate our customers, and then we check on how we can reduce the cost and reduce the cost impact on our customers, and still give
Mm.
them that quality that they are looking
I want to talk a bit about exports now because we see Adire showing up in music videos now. We see it all over the world. Have you ever considered export? And if you have, what do you think the challenges actually might be?
for. Okay. Concerning export, I think whoever wants to explore the export segment, one of the things you should put in consideration is your shipping company. You must get somebody who has be a shipping company that is very efficient, and then you must also be ready to create good designs that will be able to get there, that will attract them. But basically, I think the shipping aspect, and then getting customer base, and most importantly, you must learn to collaborate. I think
Mm,
collaborate, because most people get into business these days with the mind of competition,
okay.
and then which is not most times healthy. I learned from Niger branch, I think a while ago, that not a while ago, like in one of the lessons that I attended, that collaboration is the next big thing, which is actually true, because in most cases you might not be able to do it all,
Mm.
but when
And
you learn to delegate some things to some other people, it makes the job easier. I hope that answers your question.
it does. It does. Thank you so much. And I have to say a big thank you to you for taking our time to spend with us today. The
I hope
Adire Prof himself from Juwon Adire Merch, all the way from Ibadan. We appreciate you for joining us today.
very much.
All right, then. Thanks so much for showing us these amazing looks. I've been looking at them online myself, and I'll be reaching out to you sometime soon.
Thank you. We'll be looking forward to that.
All right, then. At this point, I'd like to ask you to look out for his Instagram page. That's Adire Prof on Instagram to see how beautiful those designs actually are. Now, there is quite a lot happening in many different industries that many people haven't really put into consideration. And Olorunjuwon has been able to share his side, how he's been able to make it work. And hopefully, this information has been helpful to you somehow. Maybe you've been thinking of trying it out. Maybe your aunt or uncle used to do it when you were younger and you didn't know whether you would want to try your hand at something new. He also has training classes. You can reach out to him and he might be able to teach you the proper Ibadan way of doing Adire. All right, then, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on today's edition of One on One. I'll be with you again sometime very soon. Thanks for watching.